Welcome to NBA Fandom. This is an independent NBA podcast which was created by fans for fans. This show is hosted by LA Blackwell, Danny, and Flau. They'll discuss the issues surrounding the NBA at all times and other sports-related topics. This is more than just a show, it's a movement. Be part of it.
This is episode 4 of our spin-off podcast known as the NBA Fandom. I'm your host, LA Blackwell. Hope everyone out there is doing well. Glad to be joined by my co-host, Flo. How you doing, Flo?
LA, I'm great. How you doing today, brother?
Doing well, man. I'm doing well. I'm also glad to be joined by my fellow co-host, Danny D. How are things, Danny D?
I'm good, LA. What's going on with you, man?
I'm all right, fellas. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of NBA things to go over. So listeners, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show and have some fun with us. All right, here we go. First topic, NBA tip-off. And for our first topic during NBA tip-off, the Boston Celtics are 20-4, fellas. Do you believe in the shamrocks or are they filled with shenanigans? Moreover, do you think the Celtics have a legitimate chance to come out of the East? And if so, do you truly believe they can challenge for the NBA title this year? What are your overall thoughts, guys? Starting with you, Flo.
LA, the answer to that question is yes. I believe in the Celtics, one of the best 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. I know right now they're ranked number 1, but I definitely believe they can definitely challenge Golden State Warriors. Matter of fact, they played Golden State early in the season. They were down big time, but guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they stepped up and they defeated the Golden State Warriors. Yes, they are for real. They're contenders, they're not pretenders. Just imagine they had a healthy Gordon Hayward back playing at the 2-guard position. Just imagine that.
That's true, man. But you already got them past Cleveland Cavaliers already. You already see them in the finals.
I think they can beat Cleveland. The edge is I give them the edge with Kyrie Irving, but never put nothing past LeBron James. You always got to trick up his sleeves.
Okay, I hear where you come from. How about you, Danny D? What you think?
Yeah, I said they're real because the thing is, I give a lot of props to Kyrie, and then who knew that Jason Tatum was going to step up and actually do so well as a rookie, and Jaylen Brown as a second year coming in and doing his thing. But kudos goes off to Brad Stevens. This guy can coach, and that's what Kyrie was talking about. Just his setups and his defenses and what he's doing, because defenses they're doing good. And also with Al Horford actually stepping up, even though he's playing out of position, he's still doing his thing. He's still doing his thing. They're legit. I really think they was going to gel that well in the beginning, and to beat Cleveland, it's going to be a close one. I don't think they have it yet to beat Cleveland. I don't know because Cleveland still don't have all their pieces together, and they're gelling too. So it's going to be a tough one.
I hear you come from, Dan D. Question for you is the same thing. What about if they play the Warriors? Do you think they can beat them if they happen to slide past Cleveland?
Not in the 7-game series, no.
Okay, I hear you come from with that. A lot of firepower with them Warriors.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Danny D.
No, sir, not like the 7-game series because this is the experience. Because you have to think about it. Jason Tatum is playing very high minutes, and he's a rookie. And then their bench is very suspect. And then I'm looking at the plus minus with your boy Marcus Smart. Even though he's a horrible shooter, he's horrible. Oh my God, he is horrible shooting. But the thing is, he plays great defense, so that really helps. They really helps him out for Boston.
Oh, definitely. I call him Mr. Intangible, man. He's the same thing like Avery Bradley is for Detroit Pistons to me. He's that barometer guy. When he plays well, they tend to play well also. And same thing I was thinking, guys, Brad Stevenson, man, what can I say about Brad Stevenson? He's doing his thing. He's like when you watch The Hangover and you see him doing all the little numbers or just seeing that thing happen. That's the same way he's doing it. Same thing, Beautiful Mind. This guy's he's doing a great job, man. I didn't see him playing this well considering Gordon Hayward was hurt, and I thought he's the second best player on the team. And he just got these guys meshing. And remember, this is a new team. This team is the first year really playing together, and they're also very young. And still getting play at this level in the best record in the whole NBA, that's saying something. And on top of that, right now, to me, he'd be like the coach of the year right now. It's way early for that. But right now, I put him at the top, looking at it overall. And just defense. They got the number 1 defensive efficiency at 0.978 as well. So he's got these guys playing defense for the most part as a team. And the big thing they're doing, the same thing the Warriors did. And that was a big thing I watched when they played against them, was just the switching. These guys got a lot of guys that play that 6'7", 6'9", switching all over different places, playing that rolling style defense the way the Warriors did. They don't have as many weapons the Warriors do, but if they keep playing like they're playing, it's going to be hard for Cleveland to go against this team, especially if Gordon Hayward comes back healthy, which is a big if. And the other thing I was looking at, I don't see them beating the Warriors, though, if they do get past Cleveland. I think they're still 1 year away at least from that team because they need one more major piece to me. Even Gordon Hayward did, I still thought it was one piece short. I still think you need a big man. I'm not crazy about, Horford being my main center. I know that's the way NBA is going right now, but I like to mix it up. And I'm not crazy they don't really have that other legitimate big man at this time. And just looking at overall, unless the Warriors have a significant injury, that could change things in that respect. But that's where I'm looking at overall, guys.
Right.
And for the next topic, the Cleveland Cavaliers recently won 11 straight games. Do you think they have finally righted the ship, guys? And just how impressed are you with their win streak as a whole? This time starting with you, Danny D.
I think they're doing very, very well, but not so. I don't think it's over because you have to look at everybody's talking about, they're doing so well, but look at how much LeBron has to work. Do you think this guy can keep that up? If LeBron was in his 20s and things like that to keep up, LeBron is playing a lot of minutes. A lot of minutes to be the catalyst, to run the point guard, to make everything cohesive together. And Kevin Love's putting up a lot of numbers, but a lot of that stuff is relying on LeBron. Hopefully, they're talking about Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is emailing people talking about he wants to come back, yada, yada, yada. And then they still have the timeline for Isaiah Thomas. They better hope Isaiah Thomas comes back soon. If y'all listen to the previous podcast on the Knicks fandom, we was talking about that also. We don't know when Isaiah's coming back, but he better come back soon. I don't think LeBron can keep this up. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see that as well. I mean, he's a machine out there. He's like T2, but, even the machine break down after a while.
Yeah.
What you think about it, Flo?
No, I'm not impressed with their streak whatsoever. The Cavs are averaging 113 points per game in their 11-game winning streak, but they're giving up 103 points, number one. Number two, they still need a healthy Isaiah Thomas. Number three, they're still waiting for the return of Derrick Rose. Number four, they still waiting for a healthy Tristan Thompson coming hopefully, by this week. They're hoping to get Tristan Thompson back. No, not at all. I'm not impressed. They barely beat the Charlotte Hornets, 199. They barely beat the New York Knicks when they should have lost that game. 104-101, barely beat the Knicks, barely, when they were down by 23. No, I'm not impressed with this team whatsoever. The only impressive thing with this streak is that they crushed Detroit, 116-88. That's it. They barely beat the Brooklyn Nets, all right? The Brooklyn Nets had a D'Angelo Russell. The Nets win that game. The Nets were relying on Spencer Doolittle, who is their backup point guard. He played a lot of minutes in that game. Nets had a backup point guard, or if they had my man D'Angelo Russell starting and Spencer Doolittle coming off the bench, the Nets will beat the Cleveland Cavaliers for the second straight time this year. Period. Not impressed with the Cavaliers whatsoever.
Tell us how you really feel, Flo. I hear you guys. I agree, but I disagree on one respect. It's hard to win 11 games and be in a streak, so I got to give them respect for that. But you got to break down these 11 games and really look at who they beating, like you stated, Flo. And out of the 11 teams, only 4 of them was 500 and above. The rest of the teams are below 500. So when you look at that, out of the main teams that they beat, the only real impressive team to me was the Knicks, who have been up and down themselves. They are 11-10. Also, you have the Pistons, like you stated, Flo. That's pretty much the best team they beat, 14-8, 76-13-9, and then you had the Heat, 11-11. None of those teams are right now you consider a championship caliber team. Other than maybe, I don't think the Pistons are even going to make the finals. But, right now, that's probably the best looking team out of all of them that could give you a little push right now. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's not like you're beating, the Golden State Warriors or San Antonio Spurs or those type of teams. Wait until you see how they play against those teams to see what this team really is about. But it's a good look, Cleveland getting his legs, hoping the guys get healthy as they get along with Isaiah Thomas and things like that. That's when you see what this team really is about to me. And also to think Kevin Love is playing much better as well. So just seeing how that goes, seeing how they go further along, that's what I think you have to look at. But it's giving them some confidence. Derrick Rose, he's gravy. Whatever you get out of him at this point is just gravy to me. I'm not looking for him to do anything else at this point. He got other things outside of the court you got to worry about. So I'm not looking for that. Looking for Isaiah Thomas and continue play great of Kevin Love. If those guys continue to play well and LeBron stay healthy, then they can make their push. Otherwise, we still see what happens as the time goes. And that goes right into our next topic, fellas, which is David Fizdale was recently fired from the Memphis Grizzlies as a rumored dispute with his star player Marc Gasol, which included Coach Fizdale benching him for the fourth quarter in his final game as coach. David Fizdale's coaching record this season was 7-12 and included 8-game losing streak. Was this a fair or unfair firing, guys? I know he's your guy, Flo, so let's start with you.
First and first, the firing was disrespectful, number one. Number two, you have a coach that is well respected around the league. He was assistant coach on the Miami Heat when they won the championship under LeBron James and D Wade. I don't know if you guys saw the comments LeBron and D Wade stated on their accounts, their Instagram or Twitter accounts. Did you guys check them out?
Yes, I did. They was in Coach Fizdale's side, definitely give him some props and saying he's one of the better coaches, and they didn't understand it from their perspective. Just a paraphrase.
The problem here with Marc Gasol, Marc Gasol, listen up, man. You're a coward, number one. Big time coward. You're a salty basketball player who's making a lot of money. You're pissed. You're complaining that, you got benched against the Nets. You weren't beating the Brooklyn Nets. Your team was not beating the Brooklyn Nets. Period. The Nets came to play. You guys didn't show up. Period. That's number one. Number two, it's very, very disappointing that this league has changed and becomes a players' league. Well, you got players getting coaches fired. Players play, coaches coach. Fizdale had a horrible roster to work with. You're relying on an injured Marc Gasol. You're relying on an injured Mike Conley Jr., a fringe all-star at best. You're relying on a guy like a Chandler Parsons, a guy, myself, and Danny D, and Ellie that can't stand. All three of us can't stand this guy, period. This guy is robbing the Memphis Grizzlies, robbing them blindly with that 4-year, $94 million contract. Horrible job done by Chris Wallace, the GM of the Memphis Grizzlies. And he should know better. He's coming from the Boston Celtics organization. He should know better. Horrible job by this Grizzly team. This is a team that fired Lionel Hollins after he got this team to the Western Conference Final in his last season coaching this Memphis Grizzly team. In their only Western Conference Final appearance, they fired him, 2013. Then they hired Dave Yoger, who had an issue with the same player again, Marc Gasol. He got fired in 2016. The issue ain't the coach. The issue is the player. Marc Gasol is the problem on that basketball team. He's got to go.
And the funny part, they said Marc Gasol is rumored to have said he thought David Fizdale was a phony. And he liked Lionel Hollins and those guys much better as a coach. That's just what they rumored. That's the allegations. I'm having some more stuff to say about that. What you think about Danny D? Thank you, dear Flo.
What else to say? We already know what's going on, but then you have to look at it, guys. It is basketball, but basketball is what? Basketball is a business. You have to remember that. If you're not playing for championships, these owners don't care. They show me the money, and Memphis is still losing out anyway because they're still in the hole. They're not regenerating any money over there. So you have a superstar, right, who is upset, is grumbling, having his tits, crying and whining about the coach. As a general manager, I look at this and I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I was talking to LA about this, right? Marc Gasol is my superstar, right? He's crying. Fizdale can't put the ball in the hoop. The owner don't care. We got rid of Holiday Hollins. We can get rid of him too because we got to make Marc Gasol happy because he's a superstar. Because if Marc Gasol walks, who the heck is gonna come to the Grizzlies and how are we gonna sell these tickets? That's all I care about is sell these tickets and make this money. We're not gonna win. We're in the West anyway, so who cares? We're just playing the play and just keep the business going afloat. Marc Gasol should have left a long time ago. You got rid of Zach Randolph, stuff like that. They should have rebuilt already. But what did they do? They give Parsons his $94 million. You give Mike Conley Jr. over like $142 million. These guys are bums. You really don't want to win. You're just going with the flow.
You guys hit the nail on the head to me. This is what happened. You're reaping what you sow right here. This team should have been broken down and should have been traded some of these guys out of here at this point. When Marc Gasol is your best player, that ain't your best player to run and win anything. The Knicks seen the same thing with Carmelo Anthony. You're seeing how the Knicks are playing with Porzingis. You're seeing how Melo's doing on OKC. We're going to talk about that in a few, too. You have to know what you got. And this is what people got to remember. I said this before, and I keep beating the same drum. Stop doubling down on players who are not franchise players. That's where you come in trouble. If he's not a franchise player, it's not worth it. And if this player don't want to be here, it's not worth it as well. Those are the main two things that you have to look at as an organization. You double down and you betting on Conley, Parsons, Gasol. I don't care who coaching that team. You ain't winning nothing. That team is slow. That team is an older type of team, and that team is not set for the way NBA is right now. That's just how it is. So you want to make David Fizdale the scapegoat? Be my guest. You wasn't winning anything else with him or without him, and you're still stuck with this team. You got Conley for another 4 years. You got Parsons for another 3. You got Gasol for another 2. And Marc Gasol is 32 years old. He's not going to put the team on his back and get you to the franchise promised land. He ain't doing it. He ain't up there since he been there. He ain't been to the finals yet. So it's like, why do you think that's going to change now? Just because of coaching? I can't say what's going on in the locker room. We're not in there. So I don't know if he lost the team or this is the beginning of it. It's hard to say. Looking from the outside, like you stated, Flo, a lot of players on the other teams is a big David Fizdale fan. He's supposed to be a player's coach, so you have to pick and choose where you want to go from and who you want to believe in that respect. But going forward, this team is already a lost cause, like Danny D said to me. What you should do, just like you got rid of Zebo, start breaking this team down. Get some younger players, get some draft picks high, and get maybe a young player that you can trade for one of these type of contracts and build from there. Because you ain't winning nothing here, doing it the other way. But like you said, the other problem is you're in Memphis. No disrespect to Memphis, but a lot of team players don't want to go there. That's not a big, free agency spot. So that's the problem you have. And, it's a tough spot to be right there. And I think we pretty much hit everything regarding that topic. And go ahead, Flo.
I'm sorry. Let me add on to that. If I was a respected free agent basketball player and want to play in Memphis, I'm not playing because I want to play Marc Gasol and Mike Conley Jr. I want to play because I want to play for David Fizdale. To me, he was the face of that franchise. Going back to last season, the team was an old team, like you guys mentioned last season. And he got them to the playoffs. They didn't deserve to make the playoffs, but he got them there based on his coaching. This season, he told management, I want this team to rebuild. I want to rebuild. And management's like, no. We can win with this team. We can make the playoffs. No, you can't. Fizdale was correct. You don't have the pieces in place to make the playoffs this year. He was correct. He wanted this team to rebuild. That's why he was happy when Tony Allen left. It's not like he hated Tony Allen. It's just that he knew Tony Allen was getting older. He knows that Zach Brown was getting older. When you got rid of those two players, you should have told Gasol you can leave also, and Mike Conley Jr. That's where the problem was. That's a big discrepancy right there. Fizdale was the guy I would have sticked with. I would have got rid of the rest of those players and rebuild like you guys mentioned. I'm not playing in Memphis because of those two players. I'm going to play because I want to play with Coach Fizdale. He was the face of that organization, especially when they were down 0-2 in that series last year to the Spurs in the first round. And he made a post-game comment, and he got fined. It was well worth that fine. It was well worth it because they came back and even that series against the Spurs, even though they lost because they didn't have enough firepower. An excellent coaching job by David Fizdale, and I wish him all the best in his future endeavor.
Yep, definitely where you're coming from. And that's the problem, too, that guy is the face of your franchise, and you gave a ton of money to Mike Conley. I can't keep going over that but so many times, but that contract was crazy. Ain't no way I give him that type of money. I don't care how great a player is, how good a player is for the community, all that's cool. But I'm not going to give him that type of money and lock myself out like that. Not for that type of player. And when he gets injured, he's not that type of player. He don't have the size of a big dude that you can still get points like you seen with LaMarcus Aldridge. He's not the same player he was in Portland, but he's still putting up buckets. When this guy get hurt, he don't have the size or the strength or the speed to still get put up numbers. And you're going to be stuck with him because nobody going to want his contract. Nobody going to want him as down the road. And that's the part I didn't understand. Do not lock yourself out of trying to get other players you can get who could be a star player just because you want to take care of this player. That's cool with certain players who have won you a championship, like a Dwayne Wade in Miami. I understood that. I would have signed him back that last year. But you don't do that with this type of player. No, I'm sorry. But
LA,
go ahead, Flo.
let me ask you just a crazy question. I know it's off topic, but whose future set up bright? Who has a bright future? The Memphis Grizzlies or the Brooklyn Nets?
Brooklyn Nets. As shocking as that is to me.
Okay. No. And by the way, shout out to Mr. Net, by the way. But yeah, I agree. Brooklyn Nets have a brighter future. That's why I don't understand how, you got these Memphis Grizzlies fans are like screaming and yelling, online, talking about, oh, I can't believe we lost to the Nets and this and that, blah, blah, blah. That's a bunch of BS, man. You don't have a good basketball team. You have a veteran team that you gave lots of money to because you had no choice. You're not recruiting any potential free agent. And you gave all that money to your big three. All three of them are injury prone. Come on, man.
And all three of them are limited players. That's the other thing, too. Big shout out to Mr. Net as well. May see him in future episodes. Anything else you want to add to that, Danny D?
Yeah, man. And all three are bums. And I say bums, not really the bums and stuff like that, but like you said, Marcus Gasol, you got to think about it. The time has changed. He went from, even for the West, the game is changing. Mike Conley Jr. can't stay in the court, and him and Parson can't stay in the court. They just can't stay in the court. And Marc Gasol's type of play, he just can't keep up with the bigs right now. Look at the Drummonds, look at the Embiids, look at these guys. He's not that type of player. And the age factor, that plays into it now.
Yep, very true. Thunder record currently stands at 9-12, and if the playoffs started today, they would be out. What are your thoughts about the poor start of Thunder, and what can be done to improve the team in the short term before it starts to get late very soon? Starting with you, Danny D, what you think?
Right now, they're just not gelling. You have these new players, have a new team trying to get together, and once again, they're in the West Coast. And then SB Nation showed about what their problem is, and defensively, they are playing horrible in the fourth quarter, what was considered crunch time, right? So this is coming from SB Nation, guys. They're saying, right, the Thunder in the beginning of the game, they're holding the opponents to 97.6 points per 100 possessions. That's in the game. They're doing good. But then in the fourth quarter, it goes from 97% to 162 points per 100 possessions. That's in the fourth quarter. That's crunch time. That's when they're losing the lead. So they're saying, for a reference points, they're saying most teams, right, in clutch time, they keep teams between 92 points and 117 points per 100 possessions, right? So you have to think about it. 92 and 117. That's the rate that's on average. OKC is at 162 points.
Wow.
Right? They're saying our Knicks are number one. They have teams between 76.9 points. So that's why we can get those comebacks in the fourth quarter, because the defense steps up. We have them at 76.9, and the Cavs are the second worst, and they keep them at 126 points.
Okay.
So basically, the fourth quarter, these guys are horrible. And then when it comes to the clutch, nobody knows their role. You don't know if Paul George is supposed to take the shot. You don't know if Carmelo's supposed to take the shot. You don't know if Russell Westbrook's supposed to take the shot. And the thing is, what they're saying with Carmelo is, when Russell is driving, these two guys are just going to the wings, and Carmelo is doing the same thing he was doing in New York. He's settling for jump shots.
That's true. I have seen that.
You see that you see he's not going to the basket. He's not following shot. He's just sitting at the 3-point, and that's not going to win games. And also, they have no bench. So for them, they might need another player. And they really have to sit there. They already did the team meeting. The team meeting, that's not doing anything. They got to sit there and play, and everybody really got to identify their role. But the thing is, Carmelo's going to be Carmelo, and Paul George is trying, but they're just not gelling. Hopefully, in due time, they can do it.
And the funny part, the other players in my knee is on the Knicks. That's the thing. They really could use Cantor and McDermott right now.
Yeah. And it shows you how great of a player Cantor really is.
Yeah. He's a great fit for the Knicks and Porzingis.
Any team.
Go ahead. And what you want to add to that, Flo?
Yeah, for me, just adding on, I agree with D wholeheartedly. What hurt this Thunder team, number one, is that they traded a lot of their depth, and you guys mentioned it by trading for Carmelo Anthony. You gave up your depth with Enes Kanter and Doug McDermott, two pieces of the OKC bench. Plus, when they traded for Paul George, they gave up Victor Oladipo and Sabonis. Sabonis and Oladipo, they're having a great season in Indiana, especially Oladipo, looking like an all-star. I know he's one of your favorite players, LA, and he's definitely a good basketball player. But again, he's committed to work now. But also,
Definitely.
it shows.
Hey,
It
I
really,
did catch
really-
some heat for that. I just want to say, I don't want to interrupt you, but I caught some heat, and I said that was a good deal for them. But go ahead.
Yeah, but also, what it really shows that this OKC team, there's some issues. Number one, it shows like these players, they're playing better without Westbrook. All these players that have been traded from OKC are playing better without Westbrook. That's a problem right there. Westbrook is supposed to be the leader on that team. He's got to incorporate these guys in their offense more. That's number one. Number two, Billy Donovan has to do a better job coaching his team. Number three, teams are attacking Steven Adams in the fourth quarter offensively. A lot of these teams, they're driving to the basket in the fourth quarter, going at Steven Adams. And then number four, this team is really ISO-heavy basketball team. Mm-hmm. Teams know how to play them defensively. This team looked like the Knicks of last season when you watch OKC play basketball offensively. They look like the Knicks of last season. Everybody's standing around. They're just watching Melo shoot. You know, I think right now, if you're OKC and you're Sam Presti, you got to wait until by the end of January to make a decision. If this team continue to flop, then you're going to have to pull the trigger and move George and move Melo. If you want to save your season, if you're Billy Donovan, you convince Melo to come off the bench and you start Patrick Patterson. If not, you got to pull the trigger and make these moves and trade these guys before both players walk as free agents.
Okay. Devil's advocate, but do you think Melo will come off the bench?
Honestly, no.
Exactly.
I think they need Olympic Melo, but his ego is going to be the problem.
How about you, Dan D? What you think? Will he come off the bench?
I don't care if I'm the coach. I don't care what Carmelo thinks. You got to come off the bench, bro, because you're sucking it up right now. Because that's the thing. It's the greater of the team. Right now, it's a team game. You said you want to come over and help us. We're not doing good. And I'm talking. I heard LA tried to do that sneak shot. Flo told him about he caught heat about that trade. Paul George told him, he tried to do that sneak shot. He tried to do that sneak shot in there.
I'm just saying. At the time, we went through a big thing. We talked about it. So listen, listeners. I said it was the best deal that GM could get at that point.
Listen, any day of the week, I'm taking Paul George over Oladipo. That's any day of the week. But the thing is, with the Oklahoma, because it's a good fit. The problem with Oklahoma is everybody wants to try to do the super team. Sometimes the super team just doesn't work out because you have to have the right fit. You think about it, Carmelo and Paul George, similar players. And they all, like we said in the beginning, would have been a problem. They all need the ball in their hand, like Flo said, isolation ball. They all need the ball in their hand to function as great players. They all were the men on their team. So you got all three alpha males on the same team. It's not fighting for the ball, but they don't know how to work as a team. This ain't the Olympics. You can't do it with three people. You still need to bench and play as a team. They really might have didn't need Carmelo. They didn't have to do that trade.
LA.
Yeah, Flo.
Let's revisit down memory lane. OKC was in this situation before. Let's go back a couple years ago when they had a budding superstar by the name of Kevin Durant aside Russell Westbrook. And they had another superstar shooting guard by the name of James Harden. When they got to the finals, where did James Harden play? Did he start or did he come off the bench?
He came off the bench.
Thank you. That's my point exactly. Melo has to sacrifice his game, come off the bench. If they really want to make it to the Western Conference Final or even make the playoffs, Melo has to come off the bench, period. Like I said, they've been through this. It comes down to the head coach, Billy Donovan. It comes down to Russell Westbrook.
It does. And it also comes down to ownership. Because really, if you want to go back to that trade should never happen. We all know that. But ownership wanted to be cheap. They didn't want to spend the money. And this is why you're in this predicament. You got 3 MVP players you could have on your same team. Young players. And you gave away, and that's not even including Ibaka at the time. But you broke that up because you didn't want to go over the cap, which made no sense. You'd have got the money back down the road with these teams winning. You could have took 2 more years before you even went to that route. And then broke it up if you couldn't afford it. But you didn't want to take that chance, and the team went to the finals. Everybody know you get to the finals, you learn from there most of the time, and then you come back and you win it maybe that year or the next year afterwards. That's how it usually goes, from the Bulls to the Pistons. That's what happens. But going to forward and where we at present day, this is going to be an indictment on Melo. Because I've been one of Melo's biggest protectors before when he was on the Knicks. I said, Melo wants to win. He just don't have the right players around him. Yada, yada, yada. Now you got the right players around you. You can't say you ain't got help no more. And you're saying you don't want to come off the bench. You laughing, saying, oh, you want me to come off the bench. I don't know if y'all remember that early in the season. And he shrugged it off. The team is not winning now. If you're a team player and you're about team, you do what the coach says you need to do. And you check your ego at the door because you want to win. Also, the other thing you look at it is this team is struggling defensive-wise. And like you stated, Danny D, very well in the fourth quarter. So if you can't be a part of that defensive-wise and help them improve, let Patterson play some. Mix it up. Even if you're gonna come back later in the fourth, or you can't, or you want to start, let the minutes go and let's split it with Patterson in the meantime and see if that works. Not saying it's gonna work, but you just have to see what works best for the team. You have to look at it from that perspective. And also the thing, Paul George's been their most consistent player than me. If anything, he should be getting more shots and more points at this point. And then you have to look at Russell Westbrook. Looking at this team in Miami, like you stated, Flo, the Knicks, but also remind me of the Miami Heat. When they first came together that year, they didn't know who should shoot the ball. Everybody was passing the ball a little too much. Nobody wanted to take over. And you see a lot of that come back and forth. But the thing that changed with that, Chris Bosh sat back and said, fine, I will let my play go less and not get as many shots. I will be more of a defensive player. I'll be more of a three-point shooter. All these type of things to make that thing work. If he doesn't do that, that team is not going to win those championships. It's not going to happen. That's not what Melo's doing. You got to change the game to play with certain players. And that's what has to happen. If that's not going to happen, it's not going to work. And that's just the bottom line when it comes to that. As for as for Billy Donovan, he's got to step up. But at the same time, I've heard sometimes Melo told him no. They tried to take him out. I don't know if y'all saw that in play before. He asked him to come out the court for, for another player. Melo waved him off. I don't know if y'all saw that. Yeah.
Nah.
It was a particular play that happened. I forgot what game it was, but go look it up. Check it out, listeners. And he waved them off. So I'm saying right there, tell me you're not getting the respect of the players or some of the players in that respect. So he's going to take the heat. And the thing you have to worry about down the road, if this continues with him, he may get the boot. Maybe a David Fizdale type player might step in there. And I don't think it's fair. I think he's a good coach. I think he's one of the better coaches in the NBA right now, to be honest with you. But, like you said, Flo, they're going to have to decide they're going to have to do by the All-Star break. And this team is not playing better. You might have to make that move and get rid of one of these players and take it from there. And also, like you said, for Russell Westbrook, he got to change his game a little bit as well, too. Otherwise, they're going to start saying, well, maybe you the player that's stopping everybody from winning. Because Kevin Durant got his chip now. So it's about you getting your chip. Otherwise, you're going to be that type of player you're going to look at it in perspective. Anything else you want to add to that, fellas?
Yeah, LA. Don't wish bad things upon David Fizdale coaching OKC. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Hey, man, he need a job. He got a new wife and everything. I'm trying to make sure the brother getting his money, man. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you, but don't wish that upon him coaching OKC. Nah, man. Nah. Not that basketball team. Nah.
All right, fellas. That's it for our first segment of today, which was NBA Tip-Off. And listeners, that bring us to our second segment of the show, which is Off the Cuff. And Off the Cuff is where we each pick one main topic to discuss that we find interesting pertaining to the NBA that we like to present for discussion and or debate. First up, Danny D, what you got for Off the Cuff?
Off the cuff, I got your boy Joel Embiid. We're talking about Joel Embiid from Bobby Marks for ESPN. I just want to make a correction on him because he's talking about Joel Embiid if he makes the first team All-NBA, but it's really not first team All-NBA. It's if he makes the All-NBA team. That's either first, second, or third. You know, guys, how I feel about that. And, no disrespect to Draymond Green because I really thought, who didn't make it last year, guys? that I thought we should have made it. It was Paul George.
Yeah.
Paul George.
Yeah.
And Gordon Hayward.
George. Yeah, Paul George and Gordon Hayward didn't make it. So we're talking about Mr. Embiid. You know, he just signed that 5-year deal for $146 million, right? So if he makes any All-NBA team, either first, second, or third, or he gets the MVP this year, he's gonna get an extension. Will increase his $146 million to $178 million.
Show me the money.
So that'll be an increase of $32 million, and the 76ers will lose $5 million in cap space in future season if he makes that team. And how do you guys feel about that?
Go Embiid, baby. Go Embiid.
You start off, Flo.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a Knicks fan. Oh, definitely. I'm rooting for that. Less cap space for the 76ers. Beautiful. Go Embiid, baby. Get your money.
Oh man. Well, you know how I feel about Embiid, man. You know, that's the rookie of the year in my eyes. It's still gonna be that. But he definitely got a chance to make the third NBA team, maybe even the second way he's playing right now.
Because there's no reason why he shouldn't. Because they're talking about it. They're saying Rudy Gobert has been injured throughout the whole season already.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And they say Anthony Davis is playing power forward. And they said basically it's going to be DeMarcus Cousins. Maybe might be his toughest competition if they're going to put him as a center to get first. But he has to make one of those. Come on.
Well, D, question. So would you say Draymond is first NBA team, second would be Cat, and then third would be Joel Embiid?
It depends if they what they label him as. If they label him as a power forward or a center. Because they're going to give him, I don't know how, because remember they gave him second last year. He was on second NBA team, All NBA, second. I don't know how.
That wasn't right.
And we were way off. I was like, I thought I had him at third. He was second. So I don't want to hear no nonsense at the end of the season where he's not on this team.
No, I hear where you're coming from. But I think he definitely should get that at least a third. And that will impact a cap room, which goes into my topic I want to bring up. I'll do that a little bit later. But, he deserves it if he stay healthy and keep playing as well as he is. Right now, they're right in the playoff hunt. So, you take it from there. What you think about Danny D?
That's what I said. I just don't hope he gets snubbed. They need to give him his money, $32 million in the bank.
Hey, man. I wish I was a little bit taller. Wish I was a baller. That's the only thing I could think of. Thank you there, Danny D. How about you, Flo? What you got for your off-the-cuff topic today?
Yeah, LA. There's some rumors are circulating that the Toronto Raptors, the Washington Wizards, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Milwaukee Bucks are targeting the starting center of the Los Angeles Clippers, DeAndre Jordan. Right now, rumors are circulating that the Milwaukee Bucks really, really, really want DeAndre Jordan badly, to the point that the Clippers are adamant that they're requesting at least 2 out of 3 players, or maybe 1 out of 3 players. They're hoping for all 3. I'm going to mention these players to you. Number 1, John Henson. Number 2, starting shooting guard, Chris Middleton. And the reigning 2017 Rookie of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon. Gentlemen, what's your take on this? And do you guys feel like can a deal be done? Like, for example, I know that the Raptors, they're offering Valenzuelas for DeAndre Jordan. I don't know what the Wizards are offering or the Timberwolves, but I'm going to take an educated guess that the Wizards are probably offering Morrison Gortat. I'm just guessing. And for the T-Wolves, I'm not too sure what they're offering. But me, if I was going to do this trade, if I'm Milwaukee, I would probably offer John Henson, and then I'll probably offer Mirza Telelovich, because it would work salary-wise. I know the Clippers want at least 2 of the 3 players or 1 of the 3, preferably all 3. So, gentlemen, what's your take?
You can start it, Danny D.
First off, I'm not giving all 3. That's a no. I'm not giving all 3. I might do with the later 2 that you said, maybe Henson and Madrid for DeAndre Jordan, but I'm not giving all 3 up, because right now it's basically like a consumer. It's like it's a supply and demand. And right now, the Clippers are not hot. So it's a losing stock right now. DeAndre wants to get out. So you lower the bait. I'm not giving them all 3. I'll give them 2, but I'm not giving them all 3.
Well, I hear you. I agree with that. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to trade it for Bragdon. I'm not giving Middleton because I think you really need that 2 guard. And you got Bledsoe over there now, so you could take the chance of going a year and just, if you're going to make a move, you can. I can see where they need a center because Thon Maker's not playing like they thought he would. It's going to take a little longer for him to get to where they really need him to really contend for a playoff position and move up in the playoff race, So that's the thing you're looking at. To me, I see Bucks, Raptors, definitely I would do that trade. I like Valanciunas, but he's getting older, and I think he's a better fit for that team overall. And as for the T-Wolves, I wouldn't do that trade because you got Karl-Anthony Towns there already as a center, and you got Gibson. That means you have to move Towns to the power forward. I don't know how well that's going to work with him and Jordan going against Golden State and teams like that, I really don't see the big reason to put that much money behind that, looking at it overall. I think they need some more depth on that team, but not so much in that spot. I'm trying to think. They got enough scoring looking at overall, thinking about it, but they just need one more piece. I'm not sure if that's it, though. I'm not sure that's the piece I would do right now, and lock myself, because that's your team at that point. And I don't even know if that could even work money-wise. Like, who you going to get to make that deal work? You got to give up somebody looking at T-Wolves, So I don't know who they would have to give to make that work. Did they say any possible players, Flo?
Yeah, I was trying to find out what player the T-Wolves were dangling, but I know one guy that's always trade bait for the T-Wolves is former Knick, Cold Aldridge. That's the one player I've been hearing all season, but I don't know what Minnesota's offering for DeAndre Jordan. Also, I want to mention that a lot of these teams, these 4 teams that I mentioned, let me take out the Bucks out of the equation. 3 of the 4 teams, they don't know if it's worth their while to pull the trigger to get a DeAndre Jordan for one reason only. And DeAndre Jordan doesn't have an agent, so they don't know if this is going to be a rental and he walks. So they're a little bit hesitant. The Bucks are trying to go all in, so they'll take their chances as long as they have a deal in place with DeAndre Jordan of re-signing him.
No, I hear where you coming from. And he's only making I think $7 million. Aldridge is getting $7 million for each year. And I think the next year or so. And then he got one more year, I think, as a play option in 2018 for $6 million. And then I think he's an unrestricted free agent in 2019. So that's not going to work cap-wise with DeAndre Jordan, what he's making. You got to add somebody else. And that's where you're going to hurt your team. You don't want to lose your depth, That's the one thing. They have a lot of players on that team. That's actually very good players at this point. But the Bucks, I think that's the team that really should make that move. Just because, like I said, Thon Maker's not making it right now. But that's the way they had to go with it. It's just I'm not giving up all those plays to make it happen, though. And also, I think Celtics is another team that should take a look at them, too. But I don't know if they want to make that move or they have the cap to make that happen. I still don't like Horford as your starting center. I just really don't. I know I kept hearing about Cleveland as well. What y'all thought about if he go to Cleveland?
Do you want to take this first?
It depends. It's who we're gonna give if they give up. If this is it depends who the Cleveland gives up.
Some talk was around what's the Christian Thompson, right? Yeah.
And the Brooklyn pick.
Oh, see, I'm not trying to give up that pick. Yeah, see, it's the same thing. I'm not giving the pick up. If you just want to swap, I guess you do a swap for swap. Yeah, I'm indifferent about that one. Because Tristan Thompson's all right, and the thing is, Tristan Thompson hit free throws, though. That's the thing. Even though he's not that good, but he's a better percentage free throw shooter than DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, but DeAndre Jordan's a better player. He's a better rebounder and a defender. And he's a legit center. Thompson not a legit center.
Exactly. Thompson fits well in this NBA small ball movement, but he's not really a legit center.
Yeah, but then last year he looked lost out there when he was against Golden State. Half the time they couldn't even play him because he's so limited offensive wise.
He played well in that last game. You gotta give him credit. He played well in the elimination game.
Keyword: play well in elimination game. You still got it. I don't care. I hear where you coming from. Man.
I'm not in love with Tristan Thompson, so I don't know why if you're the Clippers, why would you accept Tristan Thompson? If I'm going to trade DeAndre Jordan to Cleveland, I would just ask for the Brooklyn pick straight up. That's it.
I got you.
But I don't want Tristan Thompson if I'm the Clippers. No, I don't want Tristan Thompson. But I know where Jerry West is thinking. He probably wants a big man back in return, you know. But to me, he should consider going after a point guard. You know, when you have Blake Griffin, who's hurt, is averaging more assists than your starting point guard, that's a problem with the Clippers right there. LA, you mentioned this. You've mentioned this previously. So they need a point guard. They really need a point guard. So Malcolm Brogdon would be perfect.
That's true. I've been saying that for the longest. Even before they did the Bledsoe trade, I wanted in on that before they made that deal. And, you know, once they made that deal and that cap space for Greg Monroe, they just couldn't match that. But I'd have been all in that trying to make that happen, giving draft picks or anything. But with the hurt, Blake Griffin getting hurt again, I guess that's null and void at this point. But I hear where you guys going with it and totally agree on that respect.
LA.
Go ahead, Flo.
Let me just add something here real quick. I just thought of a trade room off the top of my head. Would you go back if you're DeAndre Jordan? Would you think about maybe moving him to Dallas for Nerlens Noel and some picks?
It's an interesting trade. And it kind of fits both just because Nerlens is not getting any burn over there at all. But Dallas is playing so bad right now. I don't even know how much it would really even help you, but it's a nice, good chip to go with Dennis Smith and, you know, when Dirk finally retires. So I could definitely see it happen. Yeah, Harrison Barnes as well. So, honestly, looking at it, it seems like a good deal for both teams, but I had to really sit back and think about it and see if I could get one more piece to go with that and see if it's actually worth it. What you think about it, Danny D?
Yeah, that's true because Noel's is not. He's getting a salted taste over there in Dallas. He's not enjoying it. It's not what he thought it was going to be. And him and Carl, they're not getting along at all. They're just not. It's just a bad match right now.
Okay, let me throw in a point guard for the Clippers. Going to the Clippers. How about Yogi Ferrell or JJ Barrera with Nerlens Noel?
It's fine, but it's not. Either one is not going to be your starting point guard down the road. So you still going to have to get a point guard. It's just like a stopgap player. So I get that on that respect. This is adding to it. And if you want to get rid of that contract, that's the way you go. But you're basically breaking that whole team down at that point. And the things you gave a ton of money to Griffin, which I wouldn't have done. I told that before when you just first started the other podcast and we was talking about it early in the season, who we would sign and wouldn't re-sign. I wouldn't have re-signed. But, you know, they trying to do like Danny D said before, trying to sell tickets, trying to keep people, not making that a ghost town. So I get it. But, you know, it's either you're going to win or you're going to sell tickets. You want to do both? That ain't happening right now with the way that team is presently constituted. But what you think about Danny D?
Yeah, blow up and things like that. With the Yogi Ferrell, they need a point guard, but then that's what Dallas is want to do to get rid of those guys. But then, like I said, for the Clippers is Yogi Berra or JJ Barrett because you need somebody to start. That's the thing. Well, they don't got nobody anyway, so that'd be an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's better than what they have right now.
Yeah, think about it because you got Patrick Beverley out for the season with knee surgery.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And for my topic for Off the Cuff, just want to get your opinion and thoughts behind it. Looking at the Philadelphia 76ers next year, they're going to have $70 million in allocated cap space, $70 million plus. And that's not even including Jerry Bayless. If they're able to move his $8 million because he got 1 year left on his contract as well. Now, this is something I kind of saw a few other places. I just want to see what you think, if this could actually happen. And if it could happen, would you actually do it or pursue it? Mr. LeBron James is going to be a free agent next year as well.
LeBron James.
And I'm trying to think, do you think it would be in Philadelphia's best interest to take a chance at going after the King James and actually making that push to make him the third piece on this team? Because then they actually would have the cap space, maybe make a little move here and there, and, you know, go for broke and see what happens. Because then they are in the East, which LeBron, I don't think he want to go to the West. and continue with the Golden State Warriors in the finals. This is giving them a good chance of going back again. You got two strong pieces in Embiid and in Ben Simmons. And, you got a good young coach as well. So, I'm trying to think, do you think this is actually a legitimate spot for LeBron, or you think this is fool's gold? Starting with you, Danny D, this time.
No, it's not fool's gold. If you have a chance to get LeBron at any caliber to come on the team, yeah. Because all the thing is, and LeBron will fit good into the system because he's not the thing is, LeBron is not a selfish player. He doesn't want to score. He wants to give up the rock. So if Ben Simmons is going to continue to play, LeBron to play off the ball and things like that, and they can really gel together, it could work, but it depends on who else is going to be on the team. And you think LeBron don't know that? LeBron sees that. You think LeBron would think about that, looking at playing with Ben Simmons and then Embiid and a JJ, as opposed to going to the bum Lakers playing with Lonzo?
Or going back to Cleveland playing with a broken hip Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, of course.
And Kevin Love, who we don't really have that much respect for to me.
LeBron is probably looking at it more than you think. He's really looking at it. More than we think.
Okay. How about
you? He sees that.
No, go ahead, Danny D.
No. That's he sees it. He sees what's going on.
Okay. Thank you, dear Danny D. How about you, Flo? What you think about that?
That's fool's gold, man. LeBron ain't going to Philly, man. Let's be honest, man. He ain't going to Philly. No way.
Why?
First and first, he actually plays the same position with Ben Simmons. They both small forwards. They both have to have the ball in their hands. That's number two. One of them would have to sacrifice their game. And I think with LeBron going to Philly, that's going to hinder the development of Ben Simmons. I know they're good friends. I know that they share the same agent, Rich Paul. Nah, that's a bad fit for LeBron. No way.
I was going to bring that up too. Yeah, they do say Rich Paul, that connect. But what about that, Dandy? What you think? Does that hinder the young guys' performance? Because the big thing I'm looking at, everybody keeps saying, LeBron's getting older, he needs some help. These young guys are showing that they can definitely give you some help. And there's also the maturity and experience that LeBron James would bring towards the team. So that's a nice combination looking at it from the outside looking in.
Because when we say hinder, do we think LeBron hindered Kyrie?
I don't know. Looking at it now, what do you think?
You understand? Because the thing is, Kyrie still developed as a player, but Kyrie was still putting up numbers before LeBron was getting there. So I think LeBron showed him how to basically try to set down, how to run a team and things like that. Because some of the times I've seen some of the clips when Kyrie's getting busy, LeBron was giving Kyrie the ball. He didn't even want the ball.
No, it's an interesting topic, I think. And it could go both ways. And the thing is, they both play the same position, but I think they both could move. I don't think it would be that big a deal. I think you could even move LeBron to power or move Ben to power. Both of them guys are still pretty tall, pretty strong for their size. And I think you could manage it, either way. So that's not the reason that would stop me. It'd be more like you said, I'm worrying about Simmons and him having the ball, and is LeBron going to let him continue to do the way that he's playing right now and let him be the prototypical power forward / point guard player that he is right now. That's the thing I want to see. If that can still happen, then it's a good push for them. But I don't know. I'm on the also money wise that bring a ton of money to Philadelphia. They'll go crazy if he went there, man. Philadelphia is a huge sports town too. So I don't want that as a Knicks fan though, but but I don't know. And as being fool's gold, I wouldn't say it's fool's gold because they actually had the cap space to make it happen. It's more about where LeBron want to go, and you can't really tell with LeBron, man. I would have never thought a player his caliber went to Miami to begin with. To be honest with you, so he's like that. He's not your prototypical superstar player in that respect. But go ahead, Flo.
Also, LA, wouldn't that also hurt the development of Robert Covington, who Philadelphia just gave $52 million to? Isn't he playing power forward?
It would, but
his development.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying it would also hurt his development if LeBron comes and decides I want to play 4. That would hinder Robert Covington's development.
It would, but you willing to take that chance if you had to. As good as I'm, I'm a fan of Robert Covington anyway, but he's no LeBron James. So if he can learn under LeBron for a year or two, that's a big plus there as well. 'Cause he's still a young guy, so it's not like LeBron going to be here for the next 10 years, So So if you made that move, it may slow him down a little bit, but also it's going to protect him a little bit as well. And, just to be going practice against him, those type of things, I think that'd be a nice little learning experience and mentorship under those 2 years if he takes him under the wing like that, which I don't think he would have a problem doing that. But
how many years would he sign with Philly?
Maybe 2. Maybe a year plus a player option. That's what LeBron usually like to do right now. Scope the landscape. Maybe a year, and then he decided this is not what he thought. He could bounce again. He likes seeing the limelights and people talking about him, so I can see something like that. But all that I worry about is bench-wise. He put a lot of money up front with those guys, with that type of team. But, when I always say you got those type of teams set up, people going to come for cheap. So you're going to get those guys that's going to sign for $1 million or something just to play with that type of team. With Embiid, Simmons, and LeBron, yeah, you're going to get some people come over there. And I know your favorite ownership would love that. What you think about that, Flo? Your Colangelo's over there.
Man, listen, I'm going to say this once and for all. Once Embiid makes the All-NBA team, they should fire the Colangelos, period.
Oh, man. I had to just get you with that one. But,
I don't know why they still have an NBA job. That's still puzzling to me. That's really, really puzzling to me.
I hear you, man. They've been in the league for a long time, though, man.
Listen, LA, you know this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to make sure it's documented here on NBA Fandom. If Joel Embiid becomes the big-time superstar that we know that he can be, let's give all the credit in the world to Sam Hinkie and not Colangelos. Period.
Trust the process. That's it, man. All right, fellas. Appreciate that. That was off the cuff. And that brings us to our final topic for today's show on NBA's Hot Topics. And for our NBA Hot Topic today, fellas, I ask y'all this question. In your personal opinion, who were the top 3 centers to play in the NBA that you personally watched during your own lifetime? And why do you consider them the top 3 centers that you ever seen play in the NBA during your lifetime? Starting with you, Danny D.
Oh, top 3 centers that I see in my lifetime personal play. I got David Robinson. Actually, I got David Robinson / Tim Duncan. Sometimes they have David Robinson and they actually have Tim as the center. I consider him as a power forward, so I combine the two. Patrick Ewing. And we got the man of steel. I got Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, yeah, we want some debate today for you. But who's your top 3 in order for the fans?
Top 3 in order?
Listeners. Yeah.
Listeners? I got Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and Shaquille O'Neal.
So Shaq number 1?
Shaq's number 1.
Robinson 2, and Ewing 3.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what is the time frame that you consider the time that you watch the NBA?
Mine is going from around, what is this, 96, 97 to present.
Okay. You might get out of it a little bit. All right, Flo, who's your top 3? Thank you, Danny D.
Wow. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't think about like players that I watched in my lifetime. I was just thinking about just the top 3 NBA centers, in history. So I have a different list, I got Bill Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay. Was the reason I wanted to do it that way? Good choices. Just because that would change the whole dynamic of it. Because then there's a lot of going by secondhand and what we saw versus what we heard about and what we read about. That would change the whole list. And I saw some recently, some people talking about that, some top 5 all time and things of that nature. But who you think, just look at it just quick off your head, from the people that you watch personally, is your top 3 looking at overall?
Yeah, Shaq is 1. Hakeem Olajuwon is 2. And I will go with Patrick Ewing. That's 3.
Okay, we're going to get into this a little bit. And what's your time frame when you consider you first really start watching basketball and NBA?
Ooh, I gotta say around 94. I would say around that time. Yeah, I would say around between, yeah. I would say I started watching the NBA, yeah, between 90 and 94.
Okay. We around the same time frame. Same thing I would say for myself. With you, Flo, 90, 94, and around that time to present. And just looking at overall, my top three, with that is number one. Well, number three would be David Robinson. And I'll get into why. Number two would be Shaquille O'Neal. And number one be the Dream, Hakeem Olajuwon. He is definitely my number one looking at overall. And I just want to go real quick, see why y'all fellas picked those top three. Starting with you this time, Danny D.
My top three, because I'm going, but also not as a player, but also the body of work. So, Pat is, that's what, remember the name of the fame is how you win the rings, right? So Patrick Ewing is going to stay on the list, on the top 10, of course, but can't move any higher because he didn't win the ring. So then we go number two, David Robinson, great player overall, 2 rings, and Shaq got 4 titles.
Okay. But what about the player itself? Like, I don't want to get caught too much in the rings. I know that's a big thing. When you look at Bill Russell and everybody, that's why he always get number 2 or 3 when you go by that. But you got a lot of guys, Will Perdue and all these guys, a ton of rings, Robert Horry, and they're not the player close to what they are.
A ton of rings, but then you have to think about it. Shaq also he was an MVP, and also he was a 3-time final MVP. And he also made teams better. When he left LA, actually, first of all, let's talk about when he was killing Orlando, went to the finals in Orlando, lost. That was the young Shaq. When Olajuwon, I know he's gonna say Elijah was giving the work, but that was the young.
I'm gonna get on that.
Remember that was the young Shaq. That wasn't a well mature Shaq. That was a young Shaq.
He left Shaq with Penny Hardaway, man.
He came over to LA, got busy in LA, and then left LA. All that beef with Kobe, and then went to Miami and got Dwayne Wade a ring too. They came together and got a ring there too. Can't be mad at the brother for that.
But don't forget about Phoenix. He ain't leave them in better shape, brother.
Hey. He old, man. He gave that money back, man. He wasn't even in shape.
Exactly. That's another indictment on Shaq, man. Never stay in shape.
Hey. The rings that do the talking, man. Ain't got MVP. Man. Remember that.
All right. We'll go back and forth. I hear you. How about you, Flo? Why you pick those top 3?
I think I had Ewing at 3. The reason why I had Ewing at 3 is, again, 1, no rings. 2, he's one of the best shooting big men in the NBA. Him and Rick Smits, 1 and 2, best shooting big men in the NBA. So I have Ewing at 3. I had Shaquille O'Neal, 4 rings. The man is a legend. Changed the game of basketball. Used all his force to just destroy basketball rims. Guy's an Olympian, All-Star, NBA Finals MVP. The man has done it all. Hakeem Olajuwon, the Dream Shake. He beat Ewing and Shaq in the NBA Finals. And also, let's keep in mind, remember the year where Olajuwon lost the MVP to David Robinson? He made David Robinson look silly in the Western Conference Final.
Exactly. I hear where you're coming from, Flo. Definitely, agree with a lot of the points you made. But for me, like I said, number 1 is definitely Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 2 is Shaq, and number 3 is Pat. And Hakeem was the one guy who went through everybody. And that's the biggest reason why I put him number 1. He beat Pat, he beat Shaq, he beat Robinson. And he did it and won it in the finals. If you go back and look at that numbers that he did back in 1995 against Shaq, just look at the numbers that he put against him. Shaq had 28 points per game, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. Hakeem had 32 points, 11 rebounds, 2 blocks in that series. That's against young Shaq and Penny Hardaway. That team was stacked, man. And they had Horace Grant at that time. You had Hakeem, you had an older Clyde Drexler, Robert Horry, and Sam Cassell. This is what Hakeem does, and swept him. Mind you, there wasn't no close series. He swept him. Same thing, he went to a 7-game series against Pat, dominated Patrick Ewing in that series. Numbers wasn't even close if you look at it. Pat had I believe, close to 18 points and 36% field goal. Hakeem had 27 points, 50% field goal. Dominated that series. Big reason why they won. Big reason why the Knicks fans ain't seen no championship in so long. And then you look at David Robinson. The reason I picked him, he's a defensive player of the year, MVP, also won 2 chips, also beat Pat Ewing. I like Pat more as a player, but Robinson numbers was better at the end of the day. And you also beat Patrick. I'm big on people going head-to-head and getting that win. Yes, Patrick was hurt. I remember that. But he still won his 2 chips at the same time. Yes, he had Duncan. He wasn't the player that he was, but you still can't take that from him. And he dominated for like over 10 years in the league before he started getting injuries down the road. And then you also look at it from another perspective. Shaquille O'Neal is just the most dominant center that I've seen, with just the pure size, the strength, and everything of that nature. So just from that perspective, I put him at number 2. It really nobody could stop him one-on-one. Even when Hakeem dominated him, it's not like Shaq didn't put up numbers. He still put tremendous numbers. You're not going to stop Shaq like that. But at the same time, Shaq could have been so much more is where I look at him, and it just wasn't as dedicated as you would like them to be. And that kind of affected his numbers overall and just where he stands at in the entire NBA when you look at the top centers overall, whoever played the game. And that's the main reason why I picked it in that perspective. So that was our NBA hot topic for today. And that brings to the close of today's show. And starting with you, Flo, you got any closing remarks for today's show?
Yeah, LA, I want to thank all the listeners. Please subscribe, tell a friend. I also want to thank both of you gentlemen for allowing me part of this great show, NBA Fandom. Also, listeners, please check out our baby, our first baby, Knicks Fandom, the original show that we started last season. Check it out. You know, we're on YouTube. We're all over the place. Please check out both shows. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Also, listeners, please leave a comment on iTunes or on YouTube. We definitely appreciate the love and the support. Thank you so much.
Thank you there, Flo. Much appreciated. How about you, Danny D? You got any closing remarks for today?
Well, thank you, guys. And I want to thank the listeners. Keep on subscribing. Tell a friend to tell a friend and keep on listening. Thank you.
All right there, Danny D. Much appreciated. As always, thank you, guys. Couldn't do the show without y'all. Much appreciated. Big thank you to our listeners. Keep spreading the word. Keep subscribing on YouTube. Also, leave a positive review and comment on our iTunes page. Only take a few minutes, but it makes a big difference. Definitely appreciate y'all. Make it a good one. See ya.